Hey, this is Will Power, and you're listening to the Indy Sports Car Podcast.
Welcome, ISCP fans, to another episode of the Indy Sports Car Podcast. Christian, how are you, my good friend?
I am feeling amazing, thank you, here in the racing capital of the world, a rainy Indianapolis, Indiana today.
Rainy? Why?
Rainy.
Why is it raining?
Precipitation. It is, indeed.
It's a good description.
Yeah, that's right. I
Very,
really hope I closed my sunroof.
very accurate.
I'm like 60% sure I did.
If you would have said sunny, it just wouldn't have made sense.
It just wouldn't have made sense. No.
Hey, Missy.
Yeah. Hello. Sure.
That's for you poking me so much for me to start the show.
Well.
Okay. So, sorry, we're getting all excited because Barber's this weekend, everybody. But first,
Yeah.
let's
Sweet
start.
home Alabama.
No.
No.
Yo,
Okay.
am I the only one that can't resist dancing like Forrest Gump every time I hear that song?
Yes.
No, I'm not. If you're out there and you also dance like Forrest Gump every time you hear that dumb song by some guy, DM me. And don't DM me, Leonard Skinner's not a guy. I know. Actually, he was. And he was the gym teacher of the band, Leonard Skinner. Or, well, the brothers Skinner of the band. Anyway, they named it after the gym teacher. So he was actually a guy. So, meh. Take that.
So, meh.
So take that, you Leonard Skinner snowflakes.
Moving on. There was a race this weekend. Let's start it off. When Formula One World for the Bahrain Grand Prix, which actually wasn't too bad. I gotta say, it was not a bad race. I felt very heartbroken for Charles Leclerc, though. Felt very bad for him. Like, really?
Yeah, I think everybody felt
after
for
he
it.
won, the pole that weekend, which I was shocked about that. And I was like, oh, my God, it's somebody else besides, Hamilton, Bottas, and Vettel. Somebody else can win the pole. So I'm like, yeah. He was the second youngest Formula One pole sitter in their history. So I was happy. It was a different face to see up there. But ultimately, he had some kind. I think his what do they call it? The energy box wasn't working towards the end, so he lost like 100 horsepower, and he got saved by the yellow flag. That virtual safety car.
It's called the energy recovery system.
That's it. I couldn't think of it. The energy box, energy recovery system.
It's a box
had
full of
energy.
energy when you stop.
Yeah, I had energy in there.
It's pretty much what it is, really. Yeah.
But yeah, he got saved by the safety car or the virtual safety. No, there was an actual a car
Miss,
that
do
came
you
out.
know how the energy is received in the energy storage box? From them breaking all the kinetic energy.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And
stores in this box, yes.
Well, it stores in a bunch of batteries. It's really not a box.
Whatever. Batteries, box.
The energy recovery
stores.
system is a bunch of batteries that stores the kinetic energy from braking, and then when you hit the gas, the turbo lag, there are DC motors in each wheel that take over, and they're powered by the energy recovery system until the turbo lag takes over, and then they stop, relying on the motors. That's pretty much how it works. Now, what it looks like, good luck. It looks like somebody running, naked through a football stadium during a game because they're all blurred out. Because I've never seen one because it's all blurred out. So.
Wow. I don't think anyone's ever heard it described quite like that.
But
A baseman streaking through a football field. Bro.
It's like a Formula One, ERS streaking down a football field to be blurred. Just saying. It's good. It's a good description, right?
You can always count on Frank for an interesting perspective and something you've never heard of before. And that's what I like about you, Frank. You keep it original.
That's why. That's why.
I don't think anybody who listens to the show has ever heard it described quite as a streaking football fan.
Well, that's why you come here, for the amazing dialogue, banter, and things you've never heard before out of Frank's mouth.
That's right.
Yep.
I know that's why. Yeah.
So.
But no, I think what impressed me even more than Charles Leclerc's drive this weekend was his demeanor afterwards. I think that's really where you find out a lot about a person. It's when they don't win. That's when you find out everything that you really need to know about them. And that's what impressed me the most. He's definitely more mature than his age would seem. And he's got a good outlook on the events and the way things happened. And I am sure he's going to get a win at some point this season.
I would like to see it. I was excited. I mean, he got off to a rough start. His start was not the best, so might want to work on that. And he fell back to, I think, third, but then he came back and made some nice passes and took over the lead for, it was quite almost the entire race except for like the last 10 laps. Maybe it happened, last 15, somewhere in there when his energy recovery system failed him. And of course there was just Lewis Hamilton. Just right there.
Doing what Hamilton does, yeah. Yep. I know this.
So Lewis Hamilton won, followed by Valtteri Bottas, who was right for the picking too. And then Charles Leclerc finished on the podium in third. Like I said, thank God for that for that safety car, because he was losing. He was losing a lot of ground. It was so sad to watch. It was just so sad. Then you had Max Verstappen, Sebastian Vettel, Lando Norris, Kimi Räikkönen, Pierre Gasly, Alexander Albon, and Sergio Perez was your top 10. Then you had Antonio Giovinazzi. Yes, sounds good. Daniel Kvyat, Kevin Magnussen, Lance Stroll, George Russell, Robert Kubica, Nico Hulkenberg, Daniel Ricciardo, Carlos Sainz, and Romain Grosjean. And I guess thank you to Nico Hulkenberg and Daniel Ricciardo for having both failures on their car to bring out that yellow for Charles Leclerc.
Yeah. Ricciardo
the
just
same turn, both of them.
Can't catch a
same
break.
Turn. Yep. Renault just.
Ricciardo just can't catch a break. No matter what team he's with.
I think they were yelling at him too because he didn't leave his steering wheel in the car. But then they said then they didn't punish him because his energy recovery system, I believe it was supercharged. I don't know what the term for it was, but
shorted
it was
out,
electrified
basically.
And pretty much he couldn't touch the car; he'd get electrocuted.
The wire harness to the energy recovery system melted together and fused itself to the body. So if he touched the body, he would have got a DC volt right through his hand, and probably would have, fried him. Maybe.
Well, that's not a good look.
It probably wouldn't have, but don't chance it.
So they ended in a yellow. I believe they said they've only ended in yellow. What did they say? Was it? It's
been a while.
They said how many times it wasn't very many. I wanted 7 is sticking out in my head, but I don't know if that number is accurate. So if anybody remembers the number of races, but it hasn't been many they've finished under yellow.
DeHardy. Somebody called DeHardy.
Yeah, I know. Where's DeHardy when you need?
Where is the? Oh, I know where he's at. He's already at Bama. Probably getting a good seat.
Sweet home Alabama.
I'm dancing like Forrest Gump right now. See?
Oh my god. So that was the Formula One race. So hopefully it'll be more exciting.
I'm gonna guess you've never seen Forrest Gump, have you, Christian?
Of course I have. What kind of statement is that? Who hasn't seen Forrest Gump?
Right.
Other classics, yes.
I was gonna
Forrest
say,
Gump,
like,
of course I have. Come on, man.
considering the person I'm talking to, it's not out of the realm of possibility.
You know what? It's not actually, but of course I've seen it.
So you know the ridiculous dance I'm talking about.
Yes, I do.
Well, good. I'm happy about that.
Yeah, of course, man. That's one of my all-time favorite movies.
It's what?
The next race for Formula One is the Chinese Grand Prix, April 12th through the 14th.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I saw Lewis Hamilton posted the tattoo he got when he won there last time, and he's got some Chinese letters like down his back or something.
If this man's getting a tattoo every time he wins, he's gonna run out of body.
Well, yeah, he's pretty covered. I mean,
he's like,
as
look,
it is now.
put this, if he wins the British, GP. I'm thinking of something really British right now. Can't think. Name something that's really British. A tea bag?
Queen.
No.
You got to get the Queen's face on your.
Yeah, on the bottom of his foot.
Yeah, on the bottom of his foot. Wow, just get the Queen's face on the bottom.
Walk in the tattoo shop, take his socks off, throw his foot up. Tattoo artist's like, what's this? He goes, I need a tea bag tattoo right there.
I need a tea bag on the bottom
on the sole of my foot because I have run out of room, sir. Next is my face, but I'm not a mumble rapper.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
Until he retires, then he might become a mumble rapper. Then he can start putting tattoos on his face and change his hair color to.
He's halfway there. The cornrows. He's getting there.
Well, he's
He's getting there.
Mm-hmm.
Slowly becoming American.
You and the cornrows. You are an anti-cornrollist.
I am. I'm not ashamed to say that.
Hey, that's okay. I mean,
I'm not ashamed to say that.
I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's more of a chick thing, really, isn't it? Exactly. If you seen a chick with cornrows, you go, she's cute. But Hamilton, you go, get those out of your hair. What are you doing?
Okay. All right. Moving on. What? We're not talking about Hamilton's hair again. Oh my
Hamilton's cornrows are the equivalent of me getting, implants.
What?
Just saying.
All right, we're definitely moving on now. No. Stop,
maybe I can get Danica to sign him
stop.
since she's going to be driving again this year.
Stop there.
Like, what is she doing?
Moving on.
Driving again this year?
That's Barber.
Yes, she is.
Where? When? What?
Indy 500.
No, she's not.
I thought she was commentating. She's driving again?
No, yes. Mm-hmm.
No, she's not.
That's the rumor.
Yeah, I don't believe it.
Okay, I haven't seen it on motorsport.com, therefore it doesn't exist, but I've seen it on like 20 other sites that I don't consider
she's commentating.
legitimate.
So moving on.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else in Formula One we need to mention?
Vettel is looking not like Vettel should be looking.
Not Vettel-ish?
He's very un-Vettel-like.
Vettel-esque. Yeah.
Well, or I don't know. Maybe he is looking like Vettel. I mean, he's sucking. His teammates doing better, and he's still German. So, yeah, maybe he is looking exactly like Vettel.
I'm guessing you are expecting more out of him.
Yes, he's freaking he. I mean, it's Vettel.
Right.
I hope Charles Leclerc wipes the floor with him this year.
He
Oh.
already is.
He is ahead of him in the championship standings for drivers.
That's what I mean. And where's Kimi Räikkönen, by the way?
We're only
Who
2
knows?
races in, though. It's okay.
Who knows what Kimi Räikkönen is? Oh, he's not in a top 3, team car. That's why. So,
Right.
so maybe they are just nuts and bolts of a car. Maybe I got a point.
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
By the way, in that show I saw, Ricardo legitimately said, if you were in a silver hour like Hamilton, do you think you'd have just as many wins as championships? He went, yes. He didn't even hesitate. Yes, I would. He goes, I think any driver in the series would. Meaning,
wow. Okay.
Meaning Hamilton isn't a great driver. It's just he's on a great team.
See, I wouldn't say that because given the amount of
who
success that he had leading up to Formula One,
Ricardo
he was not
did
in a
too.
Mercedes, so.
Yeah, but so did so did most of the other drivers in this series had a lot of success coming up.
No, I'm just saying. I mean, they're obviously all great drivers. I'm just saying that. Yeah, you can't really. You can't say that. I know you would say that. You would say it.
Not nothing, but how about Mick Schumacher throwing some screamers down for Ferrari in testing, huh? Yep.
I did see that. Everybody was pretty excited about that.
Yeah, and I'm thinking to myself, so whose spot you taking then, Mick? I don't see. It was for Ferrari. No, I'm sorry. Was it Ferrari or was it Alfa Romeo? Okay, Alfa Romeo.
Was it?
I don't know. I mean, because
I just remember I saw the picture real quick. I didn't really read the article, but it was a red car for sure.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So I thought it was a Ferrari, but maybe it was a Alfa Romeo, maybe? No, he drove for Ferrari, the team. Yeah. So I thought,
and it would make sense.
Why on earth does Motorsport have Alfa Romeo up top there? An Alfa Romeo car? I don't know. Moving on. But yeah, I mean, it looks like Mick Schumacher is going to be following his dad's footsteps soon. Maybe this is just like, another step towards getting into F1.
Right.
Showing that he can, put down some, really good laps. So, yeah. All right. Oh, on the second day in the Alpha was just... Yeah, I guess he did. Oh, okay. Alfa Romeo is racing with Ferrari engines? Whatever. Anyway, check out the story on motorsport.com. And we have another might have another guest popping in with us in a second. So, but all right, Christian, is there anything else you wanted to talk about? Anything else you wanted to talk about as far as F1 goes that we didn't talk about?
No, just I wish all the races could be like this one. Probably won't be. I don't want to get my hopes up, but if they were all like this last one, I'd be okay with that.
Right on. Excuse me. So, all right. I missed it. You went down the. All right. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
No.
Oh,
Is that Aaron Telitz?
it's me. What's up, guys?
Aaron Telitz, everybody. Joining the program, Aaron Telitz. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Doing good, man. Just went over Formula Uno's race from the weekend. Did you see it?
No.
Right on. So we can move right along then. There's not much else to say. Well, guess what? Hamilton won. Did you need to know? Did you need to ask?
Yes. Did need to ask.
You did? Hamilton won?
Yeah.
it was a joke, but I guess you don't follow Formula One too often. Anyways, speaking of sports, like sporting series or sporting events that you follow, other than obviously Mazda Road Indy. What would they be there, Aaron?
Other sporting events that I follow? Well, I guess I follow football probably the most, and then hockey.
Teams. I need teams. I need teams.
Wait. He's from Wisconsin.
So it's
the
probably
Packers.
the cheeseheads. Who are you a cheesehead?
Yeah, I'm a cheesehead. The Packers. Packers for football.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did they get rid of Aaron Rodgers?
They're never getting rid of Aaron Rodgers, man. They'd have to be insane to get rid of him.
You're right, because they got rid of their awesome coach first before they got rid of their terrible quarterback.
Yeah.
Great move. Good job, Green Bay. He only took you to a Super Bowl. Just saying.
I think things were just getting old there. The guys weren't as motivated, unfortunately.
That's true. Didn't they have a chance towards the end somehow?
I mean, sort of, but it would have been a stretch.
Yeah, know how that goes. Yep.
I just want to say, since you're on, Aaron, congratulations on your second place in the Daytona 24 Hours.
Oh, thanks, guys. Yeah, that was a fun race.
Missy always bringing it back to racing. One more question, though. Your hockey team?
Oh, that's Minnesota Wild.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I get to go to quite a few games every year. They always are terrible, but we cheer anyways.
Hey, yeah, we're Flyers fans. We do the same.
Yep.
Right on. So,
The best looking logo in the league, though. I'll give them that.
What
In my
Minnesota
opinion.
Wild?
The Wild, yeah.
No, the Flyers do. What are you talking about? We're a flying P that somewhat looks like an old hockey puck. Makes no sense whatsoever.
No.
Yeah, the Wild's got a cool logo, red and green. Looks like a wolf and some trees. Very wild, very wildish.
Very Christmassy.
Yeah.
Yep. Is your mascot like Santa?
No, our mascot is a wolf.
Very original.
Yep.
You should see our mascot. He is terrifying. He is so scary looking. His name's, what's his name? Grizzly?
Gritty's awesome.
Gritty, yeah.
Oh.
Gritty.
Gritty. He's that orange guy with the bobbly eyes.
Yeah, isn't he? Dude, he is horrifying.
He's in all my favorite memes.
He is horrifying. That dude is terrifying. Like, somebody wrote, "Oh, I love Gritty," on Twitter, right? And I just wrote, "He is terrifying." And a minute later, he tweeted me, "Boo." And I'm like, this guy's stalking me.
I'm sure they've got a bajillion interns to reply to everything.
It's still frightening the heck out of me.
Yeah.
Like, this guy, now he's following. Oh my God. I mean, just think, you're alone in the house, you're just sitting there watching TV, and all of a sudden Gritty just kind of slowly looks into the room at you. You just die of fright.
He is a very creepy mascot, I have to admit.
He really is, I'm telling you. Terrifying. Okay. So anyway, moving on. You guys, yeah.
I want to know, how was the 24?
Yeah, congratulations.
Were you super
Aaron.
excited?
Congratulations, Aaron. Really.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, I only did 1 day in the car before I even got to the 24 weekend. So
now you're bragging.
It was baptism by fire. But honestly, all good. My stints were clean. Everything was just smooth. It's a lot different, obviously, than open wheel racing, where it's a sprint race and you're, going qualifying lap after qualifying lap after qualifying lap, and you only have to go for an hour at a time in the Indy Lights car. So it was a bit different having to do multiple hours at a time, coming in and do pit stops. First time ever doing pit stops. That was exciting. Driver changes. That was something new. So yeah, a lot of new stuff, but came out with a great result. And honestly, I was the rookie of the team. Everybody else on our team had done the 24 Hours of Daytona multiple times before. So I was the only one that had never done it before. So I was the low man on the totem pole, but I didn't mess anything up for him.
Hey, I mean, you brought it back one piece for the next guy, and that's the most important part, right? And like, so what do you think? Like, what was the biggest thing that you probably learned that you didn't even expect to learn racing that race?
You have to sleep. Need to sleep.
Like force
Sleeping
yourself
is
to sleep?
mandatory.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I sort of made the mistake after my first stint, and I went back to the motorhome and just kind of like hung out and didn't really take a nap or go to sleep. And then the next time I had to drive was like 2:30 a.m. and I was tired. So I got in the car pretty tired and then did 2.5 more hours very tired and got out and I was just delirious. And I mean, my pace was all right and everything was fine. I was just tired, really tired. And so I went and slept, and luckily it started raining, which was good because it actually let people stay in the car longer because you get better fuel mileage and it's not as hard on tires and blah, 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 blah. And so drivers got to do longer stints. So I didn't have to get back in until like, I think 9 or 10 a.m. It was still obviously pouring rain when I got back in, but I at least got to sleep for a few hours, which was key. So I felt refreshed and ready to go when I got back in the rain, and then everybody just kept on crashing, and so we never even really went to green when I was in the car. I mean, I think they tried to go to green and people crashed right away, and then went back to yellow. So, but it was treacherous conditions. I have to say, I don't know if you guys watched the race, but there was so much water on the racetrack. It was unbelievable. And all the Twitter warriors were out there about how they should be driving under green flag conditions. And I'm here to tell you that, like, we were lucky because our Lexus is just a big, awesome tank. And so it was just driving through puddles like they were no big deal. But everybody else, people in like little Porsches, were spinning out everywhere. I mean, I saw 2 factory Porsches go spinning out going into pit lane because there was so much water as you entered pit lane. They just spun out and went in the grass. Oh, wow. So it was ridiculous.
Yeah, they're very light car too.
Yeah.
So what was it like driving that Lexus, man?
It's fun. It's fun. It's got tons of torque, really torquey engine. That big V8 in there puts out a ton of torque. So got to be careful controlling that to not burn off the rear tires, obviously. And then I've never driven anything that had the engine in front of me. I've always been in cars, open wheel cars, the engine's been behind. Or if I did drive a sports car, I've drove a Porsche before, and the engine sits behind you too. So having that big block of metal out in front of you, the engine, all the heat that comes off of it. Luckily, it was pretty chilly during the 24 hours of Daytona. So actually, the front engine just made it kind of warmer in the cockpit. So I never got cold. I don't know if anybody else was getting cold in the rain there, but we were toasty warm in our car. So yeah, that's different. And then just the car's got ABS, it's got power steering, it's got traction control, all this stuff that I had to get used to using those tools to help the car go faster. So it's a bit different than an open wheel car, but at the end of the day, it's just another race car. It's got 4 wheels, brakes, throttle, steering wheel, and you just got to make it go as fast as you can.
Right. Now, did you have your visor down or up with the windshield in front of you?
I left it up the whole time. I felt like putting the visor down was pointless because, if you already have a windshield, I don't know. I just didn't see the point.
I was just wondering if it was like almost like habit,
No, not really. I'm even one of those drivers that tries to put my visor up as early as possible, even when the race is over. Like on the cool down lap, I always crack the visor. I know like a rock could fly in or whatever, but I like the feeling of the wind in your face, all that.
You are a rebel.
Yeah.
That's for sure. I mean, how about you, Christian? Do you crack the visor too? Because you're as BA as Aaron, or do you leave it down till you get out of the car?
No, it's down most of the way. I'm like a 80% down. Okay. Yeah. I'm like a 20% open kind of guy.
You're a 20%. You're even more of a rebel. I mean, Aaron just cracks it. You got it like 3 inches up. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. Kind of dangerous for Christian. I don't know. I mean, do you work?
No, it's because I'm a heavy breather though, so I get a lot of fog going.
Oh, okay.
I start, yeah.
That's it. Mm-hmm. I'm kidding. So, yeah. So, I mean, like, was there anything else about the 24 that, like, maybe somebody who was watching didn't really see? Because you can't see everything, and the track is big, and then obviously, it's Daytona, so it is a huge track. So, I mean, I mean, personally, I don't think the TV can really, convey the difference between driving on the inside, like the inside of the track, and then transferring up to that banking. Like, is that really jarring when you come off like just a flat surface and then boom, you're on top of the banking, and then you got to go around the whole oval?
It is more jarring in like an open wheel car. So when we do tests at Homestead, that transition is a lot more jarring, especially in an open wheel car with the stiffer suspension. But honestly, in the Lexus, pretty smooth transitions. I mean, yeah, obviously you're transitioning from flat to banked, but that's not a big deal. The one thing that I didn't realize you did when you're driving in a car that's got a roof over your head is when you look out of the windshield when you're on the oval, you're looking like at the top of the windshield. So all the way at the top, where where you'd put your visor down if the sun was in your eyes in your regular car, like that's where you're looking when you go around the banking, because you're looking that far ahead and the banking is that steep. That's where you're looking. You're not looking out the middle of the windshield like you normally would be. So that's something interesting that I think a lot of people might not understand. And I think that's one of the big things that I think people don't understand why IndyCar doesn't use a halo right away, is because if you put a halo on an IndyCar, the halo would actually be in the way of where you would look at an oval, especially a higher banked oval. Like they still race at Iowa, Texas, those kind of places. It would literally be in the way you wouldn't be able to see. So I think that is something that's interesting that people might not realize.
You know what? That's the best reason why a halo hasn't been put on IndyCar I've heard yet. That's very interesting. Christian, have you ever thought about that?
No, actually, I hadn't given it much thought as to why they hadn't, but makes good sense.
That makes perfect sense. Missy, have you ever thought about that?
Of course I have. I'm female.
Oh, of course. Yeah, I mean, Missy was on top of that. Of course. No, but I mean, Aaron, honestly, that's the best reason why I've heard yet, man. So, speaking of the halo, Aaron, what do you think about the stubbing that they're putting on the front of the middle of the car for May?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, what they're trying to do there is just deflect debris that might be coming into the cockpit area. Obviously, it's going to save you if like a tire's bouncing down the track, that kind of thing, or some bigger bodywork pieces. That's definitely going to help you, move it out of the way or break it up, slow it down, however you want to say it. It's not obviously a full cockpit protection, which I think people want, but I think it's at least they're trying to do something. They realize there's a problem. They don't want stuff just flying into the cockpit. So yeah, you put something up that at least blocks it, deflects it, maybe moves it off to the side or whatever. So I think it would be helpful. A lot of bouncing debris at Indy, or like I said, a tire, that kind of thing. That's what I think it's meant to stop, and I think it would do a good job of doing that.
Right on. Yeah, I mean that's what I was saying, and it's kind of like if you start there and then draw like a triangle out from there, so by the time you get to the driver, it's a really full kind of coverage area. So, but if anything comes from the side, obviously it's not going to help anything. And like on road courses, I don't think it's really made for road courses. I think it's just made for super speedways or ovals. Yeah.
Yep.
So it was just a conversation we were having about Missy, like a month ago, right?
Yeah, something like that when it first came out.
Yeah, we were having the debate, and I mean, and I'm on the side of like exactly what you just said. But yeah, definitely. At least they're doing something. That's the important part.
Absolutely.
So, but as far as IMSA goes, I mean, they're doing now. Are you? Oh wait, I'm not actually going to ask you any questions about anything about are you doing this or that or whatever, because might be. Yeah, so I'm going to let that go.
All right.
So, but safe to say we might be hearing something coming out of the Aaron Telitz camp shortly. Is that safe to say? Yeah,
safe to say. Should be some news coming out about some of my plans in 2020. And I've got a couple more fun things that I'm doing this summer that will be announced. Driving a few different kinds of cars, and maybe you wouldn't think of me driving, so just getting my feet wet in a couple of different vehicles and yeah,
dragster?
I don't have a really full-time ride, just doing the endurance races with the Aimvassar Sullivan guys, and then yeah, that's pretty much all I have right now at this second. So look for some more things that I'm gonna have coming out.
So how's the Top Fuel Dragster thing gonna go?
Oh man, I wish that'd be great. I'd hop in that thing.
I was like, wait, what? He's driving.
Well, he said types of cars you'd never think he'd drive, so I went right for the extreme.
Yeah,
or
yeah, that'd be great.
Monster truck.
I'll still be doing turns.
Right on. Okay, yeah. So you're taking over the Bigfoot monster truck. Right on, man.
Yeah, I'd drive that too.
I mean, they turn. You got to keep on turning to crush those cars or jump over them, one or the other.
You
do. Yep. Monster truck rally, Aaron Telitz, everybody! Yeehaw! Comes walking out with a cowboy hat. There you go. Or
what's that driver? Isn't
or cowboy
that female driver, the one who drives the Dalmatian monster truck?
Oh my
God!
But
I saw she was using that as a way to pay for her. What she actually wants to do with racing. I forget the young lady's name, but I did see that though.
What, like the whole puppy dog big monster truck is paying for something else? Is that
no? So you know how the monster trucks have the different themes or whatever. The one she drives is the one that looks like a Dalmatian.
Yeah, and it's got a big tail, and when she jumps, it.
Yeah, and it's got the polka dots on it or whatever. Mm-hmm. But she drives in a few other series, but I saw she was using that as a means to pay for everything. So I thought that was pretty creative, actually. Doing the whole monster truck thing to.
Those series sell out those arenas, man. You kidding? That's a lot of money.
Yeah, they do.
I mean, who doesn't?
So if Aaron decided to do it, I wouldn't be surprised, man. I'd be right. Do it, man.
Aaron, you gotta get your.
I could see him in a Dalmatian too. We could get him.
Or maybe like a big wedge of cheese with 4 legs. There you go. He's on the phone with us, guys. We can't talk about him like this. I'm kidding, Aaron. So,
or Minnesota Wild truck.
Drive anything that pays the bills.
You know what? And that's what you got to do to be able to pay for what you really want to do. That's called going the Pato Award route, everybody. Right?
Yeah.
Well, Pro Mazda didn't work. Let me go to IMSA real quick and win every race, but be petite to pay for my Indy lights. See, it worked out. So, you're right. So I guess we just got done talking about F1 and monster truck. We covered NHRA, IMSA. We just covered that. Is there anything else left we need to cover, Messi, Christian? Anything that happened over the week that we haven't talked about since last week? Any news that come out?
Not with any of that stuff.
Okay, just making sure before we jump into IndyCar, like fully, even though we just talked about some of it. Okay. Well, what'd you think about St. Pete there, Aaron?
It was a good IndyCar race. I got to watch only a little bit of it because I was watching from the Sebastian Bourdais pit box there with Jimmy Vasser and James Sullivan, and obviously Bourdais' car had a minor issue on the first 10 laps or so his race was over rather quickly. So that was a bummer. And then obviously Honda having a bit of engine troubles, it looked like, with a few other cars too. I know a couple other Honda retirements that necessarily the car didn't blow up, but I think the Honda guys saw there might be a problem with some engines. And I think that really opened the door for Chevy and Penske to capitalize, because I think, I'm not positive, I can't say this for sure, but I'm thinking after Honda saw a few of their engines blowing up, they may have told other teams to go ahead and turn those down. Maybe they didn't. I don't really know, but wouldn't surprise me if they did. So that obviously can never count Penske out. I'm sure they were going to be there either way, but maybe that helped him out a little bit more to get Joseph the win.
Right. That is not true. That was said by Aaron Telitz, not anyone on this pocket.
Right on. And any surprises to you over the last 2 races? With St. Pete and Coda. I mean, except for obviously the winner in Coda. Let's not go down that route. But what? No, I'm just saying. I don't want to. Rossi, got screwed by yellow because Will's clutch probably would have went. So that yellow really kind of screwed those two that really owned that race.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that race, I felt like watching that race looked like Will Power had the whole thing under wraps, and obviously the yellow came out at the bad time, and then to ruin his day even more, his drive shaft blew or whatever it was in that pit stop. So yeah, bummer day for him, and obviously Rossi. But still, I mean, you have to say Colton did an awesome job because even though he wasn't the fastest car all day, he was still right there. He was still going to be in the hunt for a podium for sure, top 5. So he got lucky with that. Yellow, and then hey, let's not forget he drove away from Joseph Newgarden after the restart and won the race on his own. So I still say he did an awesome job, and obviously that Harding Steinbrenner car is basically just another Andretti car. Everybody knows that now, but Colton still had to drive the wheels off it, so he did a really good job.
Yeah, I mean, but getting away from a guy with cold tires is kind of easier, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good. It was good. I mean, he did everything he needed to do.
We need to get away from this conversation. sorry. I'll fill you in later, Aaron.
Yeah.
But anyway, but what do you think about Coda overall? I thought it was a great race.
It was really good. I know they had decent fans. I didn't realize that they were going to open all the grandstands. So it was actually impressive to see that there were fans in all the grandstands. And now not all the grandstands were full, but the fact that they did get, I would say, a good number of people in all the grandstands, that was pretty impressive because let's be real, a Formula One race should pull more people, you would hope, than an IndyCar race minus the Indy 500. So still, for how many people came out to the first inaugural IndyCar race, and then obviously the racing there was fun. It was good. I liked the no track limits rule. I thought that was cool. I think it kind of made a lot of Formula One people angry to watch the cars driving wherever the fastest way around the racetrack was instead of following the white lines in the parking lot. I think that was really fun to see. So yeah, all in all, a great event, I think.
You think they're going to change the that turns rules right there where Rosenquist was taken out because everybody was going so wide?
I think they have to change the track. I don't think they need to change the rules. I mean, I've driven at Coda. It's honestly ridiculous. Like, it's a really cool track. Don't get me wrong, but it's crazy wide. There's so much room to do whatever you want. And so if you're going to build a racetrack like that, drivers are going to take advantage of it. And honestly, like, it would be frustrating to drive around there in the rules that the FIA has in place for Formula One. It would honestly be frustrating. Like, it would be frustrating to drive around. It would not be very fun, in my opinion. So I think if the FIA wanted to fix it, they need to basically put some sort of more deterrent to stop people from going over there, whether it's grass and then gravel right away or whatever their solution is. They just need to come up with a solution to stop people from doing what IndyCar did because, yeah, it's literally just a giant parking lot that they painted some lines in. You drive around. And, yeah, it's got cool elevation changes and it's got good flow and all of that, but just the space of the racetrack is too much. It's too much. So I think they need to do something to keep drivers in the track instead of just telling them to be in the track. I always think that's the funniest thing. Track limits rules in Formula One is hysterical.
Yeah, one of many rules in Formula One that's hysterical and frustrating at the same time, for sure.
Yeah.
And, par for the course, I suppose. But, yeah, I mean, I also thought the racing was great. I mean, I think, Christian, you gave it a B, right? B plus, B? Which one was it?
B plus, yeah.
B plus? Missy, what'd you give it?
She gave it an A minus.
Did she? Oh yeah, she did. And then I went B plus plus. Right. Yeah. Yeah. So what kind of a grade would you give the race there, Coda there, Aaron?
I give it an A. I think it was great. I really thought it was.
Missy is vindicated. She just went, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
There was a lot of passing on it. I was on the fence about the no track limits thing. It sounded awesome, but then you seen drivers going way off and then all of a sudden cutting back in, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think if Felix didn't crash where he did because of it, I don't think it would be as talked about as it is right now. But maybe that's
Yeah.
hindsight being
Yeah.
2020. Who knows? Maybe they would. Yeah. But definitely, it was definitely what? So what do you think about the Indy Lights there? You know, with Ollie sweeping and Robert Robert McGiss taking P2 and P3. So did you watch any of that?
I did watch some of the races. Obviously, Oliver, I think, had everybody completely handled that weekend. He had pretty much no pressure, it felt like, at all. Even when Rob did get around him on the start, he got around Rob, and then Rob just used all his push to pass to stay within range. And then after the last restart, it didn't matter. Oliver just drove away from him. So I think Oliver had everybody covered, which is great, especially considering how terrible his first weekend was. That was pretty rough, having a podium and then not even making one corner in the second race. I know exactly how that goes. So not a lot of fun for him. But yeah, I think the race from P2 back was awesome, especially the first race. Toby Sowery taking that car, that Pelfrey car that I don't think has really been worked on too much this winter. It's probably just been sitting in a trailer, and the BN guys rented it from him or whatever and pulled it out and stuck him in it. And man, he's been looking great. He's been super impressive, I think. And then obviously, even with the problem that he had, still battling it out in race 1, and then even in race 2, everybody just going at it. It was some wild races, and still, probably better racing than the IndyCar race, even though there's way less drivers. Tons of passes back and forth, which is exciting. So it was good racing in Indy Lights.
Yeah, definitely. And if you guys want to hear about Ollie talking about it and Robert, just listen to the next show after this one. And it was last week. We had Ollie and Robert on talking about it. So, and
right on.
Yeah, and Robert was talking about all the fun he was having with Sowery racing him and a couple other people that he was battling with. So, all in all, I think Indy Lights showed really good there.
Cool, man.
And I
glad you guys agreed. I thought it was good.
Yeah, definitely. Christian? No, just anything. I was just passing it to you, like, hey, you've been quiet. Or are you still with us? Can you hear me? Can anybody hear me? Hello?
Oh, we lost
I'm still
Christian.
here.
Yep. We lost Christian.
We lost Christian. Christian's gonzo. That'll happen.
Yep, it happened.
We'll get him back.
that Indianapolis Wi-Fi, right?
Yeah.
So, they're at Barber this weekend. And you've raced Barber plenty of times, Aaron. What insight can you throw out there about Barber?
Yeah. First of all, crazy awesome racetrack. It's literally like a roller coaster ride to drive around there. So much elevation change, blind corners. It feels like every other corner is a blind corner.
Hello.
So yeah.
Yep, we got you. So sorry.
It's pretty wild. And obviously, I think at Barber, there's always seems to be a chance of rain. It feels like it rains there almost every year. During some part of the weekend, there's going to be some rain, I feel like. So that'll be interesting, whether it's in qualifying or during the race. I know last year it got rained out. Literally, they had to come back the next day, I think it was, to finish the race.
Yep.
So look for that. And then it's pretty wild at Barber when it rains because of all the elevation changes. You get puddles, you get water that runs across the racetrack in spots. It's just a wild racetrack and tough to pass at too. Yeah, even in the IndyCar with the push to pass, it's tough to get it done. All the high-speed corners with all the aero wash, and then there's only one heavy braking zone too. So it just makes passing really tough to do, really interesting. A lot of guys running into each other trying to make passes. It's a fun race to watch, honestly.
I always enjoy the races at Barber. I like that track a lot.
Yeah, really cool, really fun. All the fans there are super great too. You watch it on TV and you might not, there's no real grandstands there, so you don't know how many people are there. But man, I tell you, every hillside, under the trees, in the shade, there's people everywhere. The place is packed. I know it.
Yep.
I know it brings in quite a few people over the weekend. I know the numbers have been growing. I'm not an expert on demographics or how many people show up at it, but it's a lot.
We definitely pay attention to him, and like every year it's been more and more. And I'll tell you what, like last year, I think it was like Sunday last year throughout the paddock, before it started raining, you couldn't walk through it.
Yeah.
It was hard to get through. There were so many people, but yeah, I mean a lot of people camp in there too. It's a big campground type of track, just like a Mid Ohio or like even a Road America type of campground feeling.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I won't be at Barber, unfortunately, but I will be going to Long Beach. It'll be my first time going to Long Beach, so looking forward to that. Obviously, a historical race, so that'll be good. IndyCar with back-to-back race weekends will be interesting to see if anybody keeps some momentum up from Barber into Long Beach. They're two crazy different tracks, obviously. One high-speed flowing road course, and then you got the tight streets of Long Beach. So it'll be interesting to see. But I'm excited to be out there.
Right on. You're heading out to Long Beach?
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I wish I was heading. Christian, you've been to Long Beach, right?
I have not been to Long Beach.
No.
No.
I remember
we were supposed to go last year. We were doing a project with Mad Mike from Pimp My Ride.
Okay.
And it just ended up not going through at the last minute. So no, I haven't been, man. But it's a beautiful track, though.
Yeah. Great band came from Long Beach. Sublime. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Love those guys.
Yeah. R.I.P.
Yeah.
It really sucks. They didn't get big until he was gone. But anyway, back to racing. All right, so they'll be at Barber this week, and
I'm a little sad that Road to Indy is not
I
going to
know
be there.
if like I was thinking about like it's going to feel like we're going to have like not much to do when we go there because you guys aren't going to be there this year. No Road to Indy this year.
Yeah, no Road to Indy. I think F3 is there, and I think Porsche Cup is there.
Yep.
So there'll be some other support races. That'll be interesting. You guys can go watch Parker Thompson hopefully stomp in Porsche GT3 Cup. So that'll be good to see. And then I think in F3, James Rowe will be racing an F3 car. So he's done a couple of USF 2000 races. So you can go check him out. Yeah, I think there'll be some Road to Indy guys there.
Yeah, and definitely congrats to Parker for landing a ride driving a Porsche.
Heck yeah, man. That's going to be great. I'm stoked to see how he does.
Yeah, really. I'm always happy for anything that happens to him because I'll tell you what, he's one of the most unluckiest drivers I've ever seen. Almost win championship and then not.
I believe Parker was the first Road to Indy driver that we actually met all those years ago.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Mid Ohio, right?
Yes.
Yep.
When he raced for JDC.
Yep. Met Parker and Picnic, and then after that met Rob Howden, and that led to meeting all you guys. So
heck yeah, man.
Excuse me. Actually, I have. Speaking of weather, the Racecast weather guys, they'll have the forecast at the end of the show for you guys that are here. Anybody going to the track, you'll be able to know what, how much rain to expect. But yeah, it's going to be the MX-5 Cup will be there, Porsche Cup, F3s, and the Blanc Spain Lamborghini Series will be there as well.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Yeah, I think Connor's racing one of those cars, isn't he?
I'm not
Connor
sure.
Daly?
Is he?
I think he is.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything. I haven't seen anything. Normally that's like all over the place, whatever Connor does. If he gets a seat,
Yeah.
But I haven't seen anything. Is anybody else? Christian, Missy, you guys see anything?
I haven't seen anything, but I haven't been to.
Yeah, I've been working so many hours. I missed my doctor's appointment this morning. I feel terrible about that.
Yeah, looks like he's driving a Lamborghini this weekend.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, right on. Well, good for Connor. Definitely. Congrats on Connor for landing that ride. That's good.
I'm going to stop by and see Connor, too.
Is that his car? That's awesome looking.
Yeah, I
A
guess
red
so.
and black Lamborghini is
Yeah.
just sweet. Wow. It'd definitely be hard to miss. That thing's beautiful. Right on. Right on, Connor.
Yeah.
So,
All right, guys. Well, I gotta get going here tonight, but
before you leave, man, we need your prediction on Barber. Who's going to
all right.
pole? Who's going to
All right.
who's going to
prediction.
take?
What do you need me to predict? Top 3 podium? Do you want me to predict the podium?
Pole sitter and then winner.
Okay. All right. Pole sitter. Let's see. You know what? Let's go. Felix Rosenquist gets his first pole. Let's go rookie on pole.
I like it.
Yep.
I like it.
Yeah, and then winner. Man, it's hard to count out Newgarden at this race because this seems to be his kind of a track. But he's already won a race this year, so I'll try and pick a new guy. Man.
This is your Racecast weather forecast for the Honda Indy Grand Prix of Alabama at Barber Motorsports Park. I'm meteorologist Scott Martin. There will be a weakening system that will be in the process of leaving central Alabama on Friday morning, but unfortunately it leaves behind a warm and moist air mass that will hang on throughout the weekend. Before the rain tapers off right at or just before dawn, rain will be likely and will make the track pretty damp. By the time the gates open to the public, we'll have mostly cloudy skies over the track with a small chance of a passing shower or two throughout the morning and into the early afternoon hours. At this time, showers during the mid-afternoon and through the end of the on-track day look to stay south of the track, and temperatures will start off in the upper 50s at daybreak and will rise into the upper 70s for the daytime high. Winds will be out of the south to southwest at 2 to 5 miles per hour. The chance of rain throughout the day will be around 30%. If any rain falls during the day, totals will be light, less than 0.05 of an inch. While we'll have just a little more sunshine throughout the day on Saturday, skies will still feature more clouds than sun. With the moist atmosphere in place, a few passing showers with an embedded clap of thunder or two will be possible. At this point, the chance of rain at the track is around 40%, but we'll have more dry conditions than rain. If any rain does fall, amounts will be less than 1/10 of an inch, and we'll have to stay weather aware as there will be plenty of instability in place, so there is the potential for a strong storm or two. Temperatures will start off in the lower 60s at daybreak and will climb to right around 80 degrees for the daytime high. Winds will be out of the southeast to south at 2 to 7 miles per hour. Much of the day on Sunday continues to look dry and warm at the track, but there will be a system approaching from the west that looks to move into the area during the latter part of the afternoon and into the evening hours. Now we may have to watch for any cells that may develop out of head of this system and move across the area. We'll have pretty stout instability in place during the late morning and throughout the remainder of the day, so we will have the potential of a strong storm and possibly a severe storm. But as of now, the long-range models are not showing any cells developing ahead of the system, so let's hope that solution is correct. Once the system arrives, the instability will drop rapidly, but we'll still have enough for the possibility of a strong storm. The chance of rain is at 50% for now throughout the day, but like I said, much of the morning and early afternoon hours look to stay dry at this point. Temperatures will start off in the lower 60s and will climb up into the upper 70s for the daytime high, just below the 80-degree mark. Winds will be out of the southeast to south at 5 to 10 miles per hour. This forecast was recorded early on Wednesday morning prior to the event. Please remember, the forecast may and probably will change up to the start of the event. You can follow along with us on Twitter and Facebook at RacecastWX and on Instagram at RacecastWeather. We'll also have updates and live radar on our website throughout the event weekend at racecastweather.com. I'm meteorologist Scott Martin. Have a great week.